Girl Source is proud to honor our 2005 Women of Achievement, Vision, and Excellence. As a leader on social issues, Jewelle Taylor Gibbs influences national policy that affects many lives. With forceful intelligence, she brings to a larger sphere the values she learned from her own family. Jewelle Taylor Gibbs was born in Ansonia, Connecticut, where her father was a minister. From the very beginning, Jewelle's parents nurtured her character as well as her mind.
They wanted all their children to have a college education and taught us very early about Black history, which was not then taught in the schools, so that we could know that Blacks had made a great contribution.
At 14, Jewelle began her civil rights work by co-founding the local youth chapter of the NAACP. In high school, she also worked to ensure that Blacks were represented in all school activities.
There were very few of us, so that I made an effort to really get involved in things like the yearbook and the newspaper and student government. And that sort of set the course for my later life.
She continued to be very active with the NAACP at Harvard-Radcliffe, where she fought against administration policy.
We had some issues around segregation of roommates by race and religion, and I was one of those in the student council who fought to dismantle that practice.
After college, Jewelle was determined to work in the business world. She applied for a job at the Pillsbury Corporation. There were no Black employees there, not even a janitor.
So when I walked in, I think there was some surprise when they saw me. The man who interviewed me said to me, "Well, do you think your race will be a problem?" And I looked him straight in the eye and I said, "You know, my race has never been a problem for me. My race is a problem for other people, but I think I'm qualified for this job, and I hope you'll hire me." And he hired me on the spot.
Working for Pillsbury, Jewelle broke down barriers as she traveled around testing cake mixes with housewives.
And the women were all very friendly to me. I had no trouble at all. And I think that the company learned something and I learned something, that if people are qualified for the job they're doing, race is not an important factor.
A new job at Stanford for Jewelle's husband brought the family to the Bay Area in 1966. The couple settled in Palo Alto and had 2 sons. As her children grew, Jewelle went back to school for a master's degree.
After I got my degree in social work, my goals changed again because I saw some issues in counseling that I felt needed to be researched. And that's when I decided to go back and get a PhD.
While at Berkeley, Jewelle noticed the lack of research on adolescent Black males. Most policymakers viewed their drug use, truancy, and incarceration as unrelated issues.
The way I looked at them is that they were all related. So I felt that if I wrote a book showing how all of these things were related, that it might have an impact.
That book, Young, Black, and Male in America, helped shape public policy. Jewelle went on to write other books about children and race. She didn't shy away from tough subjects.
When a book is controversial, it raises issues that people discuss in the newspapers and on television and on talk shows. So to the extent that I think my work raised those issues, I can say that I feel I have achieved something in my career.
As a professor, she taught for over 20 years at UC Berkeley School of Social Work. Jewelle is especially concerned about what today's young people are learning.
We need to have comprehensive policies that address education, criminal justice, social welfare. Every child should be entitled to a good education, not just an education, but to a good education. And right now, I think that in our society, we are not meeting that goal.
All the social workers Jewelle has taught over 2 decades are now out in the world striving to make a difference. This may be her greatest legacy.
And it's like a parent looking at one's children. You feel that your students are carrying on your traditions and your values that you taught them. So that, I think, is probably the best achievement that I can point to in my career.
Jewelle Taylor Gibbs, 2005 Wave Honoree. Girl Source thanked you for being part of the 2005 WAVE Awards and for helping us recognize these remarkable women.